What makes a naval battle on film feel real to historians? Is it the roar of the ocean, the slow panic on a bridge, or the moment when silence becomes heavier than sound? Some movies do not just show battles, they recreate decisions, delays, and doubt. Halfway through this list, one film changes how time itself feels at sea, and by the end, you may question which movies truly understood the ocean at all. Number 15. They Were Expendable, 1945. This film begins with loss, not glory. They Were Expendable follows American patrol boat crews during the opening months of the Pacific conflict. From the first scene, the film makes it clear that these crews are outmatched, undersupplied, and constantly ordered to do more with less. Historians respect this film because it refuses to dress hardship as heroism. The boats feel fragile, the missions feel uncertain, and victory never feels guaranteed. John Ford directed the film while still processing his own service experiences. Many of the details came directly from officers who survived the campaign. The small craft tactics are shown carefully. Boats move with caution, not speed. Crews wait long hours for brief moments of action, then retreat before daylight. That rhythm is exactly what historians say defined early patrol warfare. What stands out most is restraint. The ocean is treated as an enemy of patience, not spectacle. Damage lingers. Fatigue builds. Orders arrive late. Characters argue quietly instead of delivering speeches. Even when morale rises, it never turns into fantasy. Historians often point out that the film captured the emotional truth of being sent into impossible situations without clear support. That honesty is why it endures. They Were Expendable does not celebrate winning. It documents survival. And sometimes that is the most accurate story a film can tell. Number 14. Sink the Bismarck, 1960. This battle is fought with maps, clocks, and nerve. Sink the Bismarck strips naval warfare down to its strategic core. There's almost no focus on individual heroics. Instead, the film centers on intelligence gaps, command pressure, and the terrifying consequences of being wrong by minutes. Historians consistently praise this approach because it mirrors how the real operation unfolded. The film shows decision rooms filled with tension rather than excitement. Officers debate routes, weather, and fuel limits. Every update changes the stakes. When ships move, it feels heavy and deliberate, not dramatic. That pacing frustrates casual viewers, but historians value it deeply. Naval battles were often decided far from the sea itself. What makes the film stand out is accuracy and uncertainty. Characters do not know where the enemy is. They guess, they calculate, and they wait. The ocean becomes a vast problem, not a stage. Mistakes feel possible at every moment. Released during a time when many war films favored action, Sink the Bismarck chose restraint. That choice paid off. Historians still reference it as one of the clearest cinematic explanations of naval pursuit logic ever made. It reminds viewers that naval victories are rarely loud. They are quiet, tense, and built on decisions that can never be undone. Number 13. Battleship Potemkin, 1925. This is not realism of detail, it is realism of pressure. Battleship Potemkin is often misunderstood. Yes, it is stylized, yes, it is symbolic, but historians still place it on accuracy lists for one reason. It captures the emotional mechanics of shipboard unrest with startling clarity. The film focuses on cramped spaces, rigid hierarchy, and simmering resentment. Sailors are shown living under strict discipline, limited food, and constant supervision. When tension finally breaks, it does not explode instantly. It builds, spreads, and pulls others in. Historians note that this progression mirrors real incidents far more closely than sudden revolts shown in later films. Even without sound, the ship feels loud. Machinery vibrates. Faces sweat. Orders feel heavy. The ocean offers no escape. That sense of confinement is historically accurate to early steel warships. While the story was shaped by ideology, naval scholars still acknowledge its value. The film understands how authority works at sea and how quickly it can collapse when trust disappears. Battleship Potemkin does not teach tactics. It teaches structure, and that is why it still matters. Number 12. Run Silent, Run Deep, 1958. This battle happens inside the mine before it happens at sea. Run Silent, Run Deep focuses on leadership conflict as much as naval engagement. Historians respect the film because it shows how personal obsession can distort command judgment without turning the story into melodrama. The submarine sequences are slow, tense, and procedural. Orders are repeated. Silence stretches. Crews wait longer than viewers expect. That waiting is exactly what historians highlight as accurate. Submarine operations were built on patience and restraint, not constant movement. The conflict between officers feels authentic. Disagreements remain professional but dangerous. No one openly rebels, yet everyone feels the strain. Naval historians often cite this film when discussing command psychology under pressure. The film avoids flashy visuals. Instead, it emphasizes sound cues, decision delays, and trust between crew members. Even mistakes feel small, yet costly. Run Deep earns its reputation by respecting how quiet fear shapes behavior. It understands that leadership at sea is not about confidence alone. It is about control, restraint, and knowing when not to act. Number 11. In Which We Serve, 1942. This film feels lived in, not performed. In Which We Serve was created during wartime by people who were living it. That immediacy gives the film a texture historians deeply admire. The ship feels crowded, the crew feels tired, and the ocean feels unforgiving. The story unfolds through memory, showing how ordinary lives connect to moments at sea. What historians appreciate most is how the film treats damage and survival. When the ship is struck, the chaos feels real. Crew members act without speeches. Training takes over. Fear is present, but duty moves faster. The film shows how naval life extends beyond the deck. Families, routines, and waiting all matter. That wider view aligns with historical records from sailors who described long stretches of boredom followed by moments of terror. There is no exaggeration here. Even the emotional moments are quiet. That restraint makes the film powerful. Historians often say this film understood something many later movies missed. Naval service is not about constant action, it is about endurance. And In Which We Serve captures that truth with rare honesty. Number 10. The Hunt for Red October, 1990. This battle is fought with patience, not noise. The Hunt for Red October earned rare respect from historians because it understood that modern naval tension lives in silence. The film moves slowly on purpose. Decisions are whispered. Screens glow softly. Entire scenes hinge on whether a sound is real or imagined. Historians praise the way the film treats command logic. Officers debate before acting. Orders are double-checked. Nothing feels rushed. That restraint mirrors real Cold War naval doctrine, where mistakes carried consequences far beyond the ship itself. The ocean is vast, empty, and intimidating. You feel how easily something could go wrong without anyone noticing. The film also gets communication right. Signals are indirect. Messages travel through layers of interpretation. That delay creates tension more effectively than action ever could. Naval analysts often note that the movie shows leadership as a burden, not a thrill. What elevates the film is how it treats technology as a tool, not magic. Screens do not provide certainty. They provide clues. Crews still rely on judgment. That uncertainty is historically accurate. The Hunt for Red October remains respected because it shows how modern naval battles are shaped by restraint, discipline, and the fear of acting too soon. Number 9. The Admiral Roaring Currents, 2014. This is a battle where geography decides everything. The Admiral Roaring Currents recreates a historic sea engagement that historians still study for its tactical brilliance. What makes the film special is its focus on planning over spectacle. Ships move slowly, currents matter, timing becomes everything. The story follows a commander facing overwhelming odds, yet refusing reckless action. Instead, he studies water flow, wind, and narrow channels. Historians praise this because it reflects real naval thinking. The sea itself becomes part of the strategy. Unlike many modern films, this one allows chaos to feel confusing. Visibility is limited. Orders struggle to carry. Crews react based on training rather than heroics. That confusion is intentional and accurate. The film avoids exaggeration. When ships collide or falter, the consequences linger. Nothing resets. Every decision reshapes the battle. Naval historians often highlight this film when discussing how leadership adapts to environment rather than forcing control. It shows that power at sea is not always about size. Sometimes it is about understanding where you are standing. That respect for geography is why the film holds its place on this list. Number 8. Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World, 2003. This battle breathes with the rhythm of wind and wood. Master and Commander is often called the most accurate depiction of Age of Sail combat ever filmed. Historians praise it for understanding that naval battles once depended on patience, discipline, and weather rather than speed. Every movement feels deliberate. Cannons are not fired casually. Crews prepare for long stretches before brief moments of chaos. When action comes, it feels dangerous and exhausting. That balance reflects historical accounts from the era. The film also gets command culture right. Orders are firm but thoughtful. Authority is earned through competence, not volume. Crew members respect routines because routines keep them alive. Historians frequently note how accurately the film portrays hierarchy without making it cruel or romantic. Even the quiet moments matter. Repairs take time. Injuries are treated carefully. The ocean never stops moving even when the battle ends. Master and Commander earns its reputation because it treats naval combat as work. Difficult, exhausting work shaped by nature. It reminds viewers that before engines and screens, the sea ruled everything. Number 7. Tora, 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 1970. This battle begins long before the first strike. Tora, Tora, Tora remains one of the most respected naval history films because it refuses drama in favor of process. Historians value it for showing how delays, assumptions, and miscommunication shape outcomes. The film spends time on preparation. Meetings drag on. Messages are misunderstood. Warnings arrive too late. That slow buildup mirrors real records of the event. Nothing feels rushed because nothing was rushed in reality. What sets the film apart is balance. Both sides are shown as professional and methodical. There is no villain speech, no celebration, just execution of plans shaped by human error. Naval historians often praise the film for its accuracy and timing. Events unfold in the correct sequence without rearrangement for excitement. That choice makes the outcome feel inevitable, not dramatic. Tora, Tora, Tora respects history by letting it speak for itself. It proves that accuracy can be more powerful than spectacle. Number 6. The Bedford Incident, 1965. This battle never fully happens, and that is the point. The Bedford Incident earns its place through tension rather than action. Historians respect the film because it shows how close naval operations can come to disaster without a single visible clash. The story focuses on obsession. A commander pushes harder, listens less, and isolates himself from caution. Sonar signals become symbols of fear rather than certainty. The crew feels the pressure long before anything unfolds. Naval scholars often reference this film when discussing Cold War stress. It captures how constant readiness erodes judgment. No one wants to escalate, yet no one wants to back down. The film refuses comfort. There is no relief, no release. That discomfort reflects real concerns of the era, where a single mistake could spiral beyond control. The Bedford Incident remains respected because it understands that the most dangerous naval battles are sometimes the ones that almost happen. Number 5. Greyhound, 2020. This battle never lets you rest, and neither could the men who lived it. Greyhound is respected by historians because it understands something most naval films ignore. Escort duty was exhausting, repetitive, and unforgiving. The film traps you on the bridge of a destroyer escort for nearly its entire runtime, and that choice is deliberate. There are no side stories, no comfort scenes, just constant vigilance. Orders are short. Movements are precise. The ocean feels endless and empty, yet full of threat. Historians praise how the film shows command fatigue building minute by minute. Leadership here is not dramatic. It is relentless. What sets Greyhound apart is accuracy and procedure. Signals, spacing, timing, and decision flow all match documented convoy operations. Nothing happens quickly. Even moments of urgency are shaped by routine. That realism makes the tension feel earned rather than forced. The lead commander is not confident at first. He hesitates. He questions himself. Historians appreciate this because first commands often felt exactly like that. Confidence came later, if at all. Greyhound earns respect because it shows how naval battles were won through discipline and endurance, not speeches. It captures the quiet weight of responsibility that never leaves the bridge. Number 4. The Sand Pebbles, 1966. This is a naval battle against confusion, not an enemy. The Sand Pebbles stands out because it portrays naval presence as complicated and uncomfortable. Historians respect the film for showing how missions can feel unclear even to those carrying them out. Set aboard a river gunboat, the film focuses on daily operations rather than major engagements. Engines break down, orders feel distant, tensions rise slowly. That pacing reflects historical accounts from sailors stationed far from home with limited understanding of local conditions. The ship itself feels alive. Machinery demands constant care. Crew members argue over responsibility and purpose. Historians often highlight how accurately the film portrays mechanical dependence. If the ship fails, everything fails. What makes the film powerful is restraint. When moments of conflict arrive, they feel heavy, not exciting. Consequences linger. There is no reset button. That realism is why the film is still studied. The Sand Pebbles earns its place by showing that naval service is not always about clear battles. Sometimes it is about being present in places where answers do not exist. Number 3. The Enemy Below, 1957. This battle is a conversation carried out through distance. The Enemy Below remains one of the most respected naval films because it treats combat as a test of intellect rather than force. Historians praise its focus on tactics, patience, and mutual respect between opponents. The story unfolds slowly. Each side studies the other. Moves are anticipated. Counters are prepared. Nothing is rushed. That chess-like structure mirrors real escort operations described in historical records. What historians value most is how the film humanizes command without turning it sentimental. Both leaders are professionals. They respect skill even while opposing it. That realism reflects accounts from veterans who described combat as focused rather than emotional. The ocean itself becomes part of the dialogue. Sound travels unpredictably. Silence hides intention. The film understands that uncertainty shapes every decision. The Enemy Below endures because it shows that naval battles are not always loud. Often they are quiet contests of judgment where survival depends on thinking one move ahead. Number 2. Das Boot, 1981. This is what confinement does to time and to people. Das Boot is widely considered the most accurate submarine film ever made. Historians consistently praise its portrayal of fatigue, stress, and the psychological toll of prolonged patrols. The film refuses to move quickly. Days blur together. The air feels heavy. Space disappears. That pacing mirrors real patrol conditions where waiting defined existence. Historians note how the film captures monotony without losing tension. Nothing feels glamorous. Equipment fails. Morale dips. Authority is questioned quietly. The ocean is not dramatic. It is oppressive. That emotional accuracy is why veterans often describe the film as difficult to watch. Das Boot earns its reputation because it understands that naval battles are not just about moments of engagement. They are about enduring pressure without release. It does not celebrate conflict. It documents survival. That honesty is why it remains unmatched. Number 1. The Cruel Sea, 1953. This film understands what the ocean takes and never gives back. The Cruel Sea is often cited by historians as the most truthful naval film ever made. It captures escort warfare not as heroism, but as obligation carried out under relentless conditions. The crew is exhausted from the beginning. Patrols blur together. Loss becomes routine. The ocean feels cold and indifferent. Historians praise how accurately the film portrays endurance as the defining trait of naval service. There are no grand moments, only decisions that must be made quickly and lived with forever. Damage is slow to repair. Grief is rarely expressed. Duty moves on regardless. What makes the film extraordinary is restraint. It never explains itself. It trusts the viewer to feel the weight of repetition and loss. That confidence mirrors the reality sailors described in memoirs and interviews. The Cruel Sea earns its top position because it does not try to impress. It tries to tell the truth, and that truth still resonates decades later. So which naval battles on film truly respected history, and which ones only borrowed the surface? The ocean has no patience for shortcuts, and neither do historians who study it. These films understood that reality is built from discipline, delay, and doubt. If one of these stood out to you, say why. Share your thoughts, subscribe for more deep dives, and remember this: at sea, accuracy is not optional. It is survival.